Right, great. Tons of opportunity for us to be together, which is exciting. So, this morning I want to share with you. A few weeks ago, if you were with us on our all-age service, and Matthew was sharing, he had two questions that he shared with everyone, and he got us to think. And the first question was, do you believe you are generous? Which I thought was a really good question. And then the other question was, do you believe God is generous? And I thought these were great questions, and they really got me thinking about, is God generous? Do I believe God is generous? Because I think the question isn't so much if God is generous or not, but more if I believe he's generous. And do I perceive him as generous? Because logically, I know the right answer. I know in my head that God is generous. Or I might think, yeah, God is generous. Is God generous? Yes, God is generous. But even though I know something in my spirit, the rest of me needs to catch up. Do I actually believe it? Because the extent of how much I know it and how much I believe it is found in my actions and in my desires. If the answer to is God generous is yes, but immediately I think of all the things I still want, I haven't got, I didn't get in the past, that tells me that my answer is conditional. God is generous, but wouldn't he be even more generous once I got this one thing that I've asked for? Or we all know that one thing or two things that it might be. So is God generous, and do I believe God to be generous? Are two deep questions that for each of us will have different answers. Because the truth is this, God is generous. But perhaps we have believed the lie that he's holding on to things. We might have even believed the lie that if we do something right or correct or sort this thing out before we receive his generosity. If so, we may feel the need to take it into our own hands and sort ourselves out. I need to do it. The truth is that when we do that, it takes God out of the equation. It's all on me. The lie that I believed is that there isn't enough, so I must make it happen. I must provide. I must store up for my rainy days. I remember a while ago, I took my boys to a kid's birthday party, and of course they had loads of fun, but then the food time came, and they sat down, and if you've been to a kids party, you know how it is. The kids are sat down and the parents are on the side and the food comes and their eyes widen and it's all exciting things and somehow they eat it even though at home they don't eat it. And the food comes and my boys, and to be honest, all the kids were literally like this, grabbing everything. Their plates were like this and I'm like, whoa, boys, there is enough. There is enough. The host knew how many kids was going to come. The host was prepared. The host provided the food. There was enough and probably a little bit more for the kids. But the thought of what if I don't have enough entered their minds the moment they said go. And then they piled their plate and probably didn't eat most of it anyway. And there was still so much left over. But that thought of I'm not looking to the right or to the left of who's having what. I'm making sure that I have enough because I believe that there won't be enough and I have to sort it out. I have to provide for myself. And I'm not talking, when I talk about being generous and holding on to things, I'm not talking about money. Because money is one way that we believe God is generous. But anything else, my time, my skills, my relationships, my possessions, everything, if I believe that there isn't enough, if I believe the lie, there isn't enough, I will not find it easy to be generous with any resources in my life. Because I might be feeling that I'm giving away from something that it belongs to me. And something that might run out. Therefore, I must guard it and protect it. I'm going to ration it out because I might not get any more of this. The truth is that we were given everything to be stewards over. It is all his. This is what we read in Genesis 1 verse 28. God blessed them and increased in rule efficiency and or every creature that moves on. He has given all. He is the power of I'm looking at the tree. I'm going to say, God, you saw this tree. I'm eating this tree. You saw this tree. When you created the earth, I hope this tree is more you. In your mind, and this tree is before here after me. That's like nothing. You got to be in everything. It's very hard to awe what very hard questions of things when we are in creation, when we are in His creation, when we wonder at all that He has done. I do not own anything. It has been given to me by my Father to enjoy and take care of. But by believing the lie that I do not have enough, I live in fear, in worry, and anxiety. They will all run out. And what if God won't provide anymore? And I love that Deborah read this verse because I already had it written down for this morning. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, or about your isn't life more than more clothes. Look at the air, or so you have life that. Are you not more valuable than that? Can one by word add a still out to your life? This question, are you not more valuable than they? Real stuck with me. Do I believe I'm more valuable than birds? Because the Bible says, if I provide the birds, and you are more valuable than the birds, I will provide for you. Do I believe that my Father is a provider and my Father will provide? God is the ultimate party host, and He has provided all that is needed for our feast. All that we need, He has provided it. Do I believe He will provide without me telling Him how to provide and when to provide? Do I believe that He will provide without me trying to make it happen? And me not making it happen does not me doing anything. Me not trying to put my feet up, God will sort it out. It means trusting in the Lord, making myself available to Him and to hear Him. I've noticed this in my life, but I think it's a pattern that we as humans do, that we sometimes swing from these extremes. And then one extreme is, I need to make it happen. I must make it happen. Nobody else is. I need to make it happen. And the other extreme is, well, I trust in the Lord. I'll do nothing. And surely some food will just fall down from sky. And I think these extremes are just that, extremes. And my effort needs to go into trusting Him, being with Him, listening to Him, resting in Him, not making things happen. There is an effort required on my part, but maybe not the one I'm thinking about. It might feel like a subtle difference at times, but there is a difference between working hard to make it happen and working hard to make myself available to listen to what He might tell me. As some of you may know, I love to bake bread, and my poor little oven is working very hard every single week. And recently there was an opportunity for me to maybe either bake in a more exciting place or increase what I'm already doing. And when this opportunity came, I instantly thought, I know how to make this happen. If you give me half an hour with pen and paper and a calendar, I can make this happen. It's not wrong that I make it happen. It's not God's will. But that takes God out of the equation. If I sit there trying to make it happen whilst I'm going, I wonder if this is God's way, but I'm not giving any space to listen, but I am making it happen, then I've already taken Him out of the equation. Rather, my effort is going into making myself available. I am not rushing for an answer. A few years back, I would be like, I need to know the answer, and I need to know now, and what are all the things that I can do? And I would probably think of all the things that I can do, and I would make it happen. But the truth is, all my effort right now is in resting in Him and making myself available to hear what He has to say. If He says, go on and make it happen, I will do that. If He says rest, I will do that. If He says pray, I will do that. And there is effort, there is doing, but not in the direction that I might think, not in the direction where I might have thought I have to put all my effort and time. My first priority is to spend time with Him and make myself available. Something is required on my part, just not what I thought might be required. When you believe there's enough, you start seeing opportunities for generosity everywhere. With your money, with your time, with your energy, with your resources, with your skills, with your friendships, you will see generosity in all. When you believe the truth that there is enough, you will find it easier to be generous. Because mine and our scarcity problem isn't caused by lack. It is not caused by a lack of resources, but by a mindset that believes that God can't be trusted. Maybe God is holding out on me. Maybe there isn't enough, and maybe I need to take matters into my own hands. And once we are deceived into that mindset of scarcity, we can justify the impulse to take care of me and mine before anyone else. And as we know, in the world that leads to envy and anger and violence, and a world where it seems that there isn't enough. We are called to be generous with what we have, not with what we do not have. I was reading the story of the little boy with the 2 fish and 5 breads this week, and again I was like, that is quite amazing, because he didn't go and borrow. He didn't go around asking everyone, I'm doing this with my bread and fish. Do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? No. He didn't give what he didn't have. He didn't go and borrow someone else's bread and fish. He brought what he had. To some extent, he must have known it wasn't enough. But that didn't stop him bringing what he had. He didn't take the matters into his own hands to ask around who has extra bread and fish, because that would have taken Jesus out of the equation. He brought what he had and allowed Jesus to do it all. Jesus did all because he had the space to do it. And most likely is that he was also a child, so he wasn't really overthinking like we would do. He wasn't thinking, oh, what will Jesus think? Will Jesus think, oh, what are you doing here with all this? This is not enough. This is ridiculous. This will never feed not even a person. But he wasn't overthinking it the way we do. He wasn't thinking that it has to be the perfect answer or everything has to be sorted before he brought it to Jesus. He was a child. Maybe that's why we are being reminded to be like children. He saw what he had and he went to Jesus. We are called to be generous with what we have, not what we do not have. So what is the antidote of believing the lie that there isn't enough? And the antidote, the opposite of what you can do, is gratefulness. Gratefulness in everything. Gratefulness when I wake up, when I go to work. Gratefulness when I wash the dishes. Gratefulness when things go my way. And gratefulness when things don't go my way. Gratefulness when I'm waiting. And gratefulness when I'm excited and looking forward for something. For my head to catch up with what my soul and spirit already know is the truth, I must use my voice to give thanks. I must speak of his goodness, even when I do not feel like his goodness. This week we were at a prayer meeting, and a few weeks in a row we have prayed about something. And this week that person came and the prayer wasn't answered. Well, we thought it wasn't answered. But what amazed all of us at the prayer meeting, and it was such a beautiful time, that this person was rejoicing in God's goodness. That is the testimonies that we need to talk about. This person's prayer wasn't answered the way we thought it should be answered, or the way we prayed for weeks on end, but this person was rejoicing in God's goodness. And that was this person. They used their voice to speak of God's goodness, even when they had nothing physical to show for it. Even when it wasn't we prayed for this and I got it, and now I'm going to speak of his goodness. It was, no, we prayed for this because I really wanted it, and it didn't quite happen, and I might feel let down, but I am still going to speak and sing and shout of his goodness. I must speak of his goodness, even when I do not feel his goodness, because him and his goodness haven't changed. Just my circumstances changed. Perspectives have changed. People have changed. But when I focus on all that I've been given and spend time giving glory for what I have been given, I will see his generosity in everything around me. And it will become increasingly easier for me to be generous with all and everything in me. And what better way to start than now? So we're going to spend a bit of time, and the most amazing, beautiful Ellie and Nathan will sing the Goodness of God song. Because you are right, Joe, I love that song. And I remember the first time I heard that song, someone pointed out to me, and they were like, oh, it's quite a nice song, speaking about a nice, easy life. And I was like, yes, but also anyone can sing that song. Because the truth is that your life may have been this, and your circumstances and your events around you and the people around you may have been deceitful, lying, hurting, but he hasn't changed. And yeah, Joe, what you said was absolutely spot on. It was so beautiful to sing, all my life you have been faithful. When you actually can look at your life and be like, oh, I don't really feel like he has been. But you can sing, all my life you have been faithful. It's a beautiful testimony. So while we sing this song, while Ellie and Nathan lead us into this song, I want us to spend some time. If there's some paper and pens here. If you have your own, please do. If you want to write on your phone, do. But I want us to start actually giving some thanks for what we have been given. And it will be easy, and that's okay, to start with the material things. Look around yourself, think about your house. But then I want us to carry on. Think about all the things that you have been given in your life, the people in your life, the skills. Can you recognize what he has put inside of you and give him thanks for that? Because he has thought of you, and he has designed you, and he saw you before the earth was even created. He thought of each one of you, and he has placed something unique in each one of you. Now, if you sit there and you think, I have no idea what that is, ask him. Ask him, God, what have you put inside of me? I want to be grateful for it. I want to recognize it. Ask him. There has never been a time when I have asked him and he has been silent. There's been plenty of time when I've talked over him. And there's been plenty of time when I haven't listened. And there's been plenty of time when I tried to make it happen. But there has not been once when I have asked him and he has been silent. So let's spend some time this morning doing that. And carry on for the rest of your week.